You know, mercy is a word we hear all the time. We ask for it, we talk about it, but what if we don't really get it? In this explainer, we're diving into a powerful sermon by Apostle Joshua Selman that lays out a whole new way of looking at this huge concept. And here's the thing. According to this teaching, there's a massive difference between just asking for mercy and actually understanding the mechanics of how it works. And that gap, that lack of understanding, it might just be the very thing that keeps us from receiving it.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to look at four key parts. First, why mercy is even necessary. Second, what it actually is. Third, the one condition for receiving it. And finally, the incredible things that happen when we do. So let's start from the top.
All right, first things first. To even begin to grasp mercy, the sermon says we have to understand this fundamental conflict, this tale of two totally opposite natures. This is the very foundation for why mercy is so absolutely essential. So, on one side of the chasm, you have the nature of God, described here as pure love, endless compassion, just overflowing with grace. And on the other side, well, there's the nature of fallen humanity, inherently flawed, with a deceitful heart and, let's be honest, just kind of weak. It's this massive, seemingly impossible gap that creates the whole problem. And this quote just drives that point all the way home. The idea is that even at our absolute best, without help, we're heading for a wreck. So you have a perfect God and an imperfect creation. How in the world do you bridge that gap? Well, according to this teaching, that bridge has a name, and that name is mercy.
Okay, so we've established why we desperately need mercy. But what is it? I mean, really? The sermon gives a super clear two-part definition that I think makes so much sense.
So it all starts with compassion. This is the foundation. It's the feeling, right? It's that ability to actually be moved, to be touched by someone else's struggle or their weakness. It's the engine that starts the whole process. But here's the key distinction. Compassion is the feeling, but mercy is the action. It's what you do because you feel compassion. So if compassion is the seed, then mercy is the fruit that actually grows from it. One is an internal feeling. The other is external help. And get this, mercy itself isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. It has two different dimensions. The first one is what we usually think of, forgiveness. It's withholding punishment from someone who messed up. But the second one is support. It's helping someone who is simply inadequate or suffering or just can't do it on their own. This is huge because it means mercy isn't just for when you've done wrong. It's also for when you're simply not enough. Okay, this is where it gets really practical. If this incredible mercy is available for both our mistakes and our weaknesses, how do we get it? How do we access it? The sermon is crystal clear on this. It is not random. There's a protocol, a spiritual law. It's not automatic. You don't just get it by default. The teaching explains that mercy operates according to a specific spiritual principle. And like any principle, there are conditions that have to be met. There's one specific key that turns the lock. So the question is, what is that one non-negotiable condition? What is the one posture God has to find in a person before his mercy can be released? The answer is a single, powerful word: brokenness. Now hold on, because this isn't about self-pity or shame. It's defined here as something totally different. It's about radical honesty. It's that moment you finally stop pretending, stop trying to manage everything, and just admit, you know what? I cannot do this alone. I am inadequate without God's help. And the parable of the prodigal son is the ultimate case study for this. I mean, you see the whole cycle perfectly. He starts with pride and rebellion, right? Then he hits rock bottom and has that aha moment, that realization of his total inadequacy. Then comes the humble return, where he's willing to be a servant. And what happens? The second his father sees that brokenness, he runs to him with mercy and restores everything. That's the principle in action. So let's follow this through. You meet the condition, you get honest, you embrace that brokenness. And as a result, mercy is released. So what happens then? What does that actually look like in our lives? Well, the sermon points to two major tangible blessings. First, healing. Mercy is an active force that comes in to treat distress and bring restoration, physically and spiritually. And second, provision. It's the force that steps in to meet our needs in ways we could never achieve on our own, just like when Jesus had compassion on the crowd and miraculously provided food. And all of this leads to a really staggering conclusion. Mercy is framed here as God's system of advantage. It's like a divine equalizer or maybe even a cheat code designed specifically to override our own human limitations so that we can actually reach the potential he has for us. And that leaves us with a pretty radical thought to chew on. If mercy is literally designed for our inadequacy, what if our greatest weaknesses aren't disqualifications at all? What if, instead, they're the very prerequisite, the exact thing that qualifies us for God's greatest advantage? Now that is an idea that could change everything.